येषं कलौ महायोगी भारतो ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठागुणम् आसीत् येनेदं वर्षम् भारतम् इति व्यापादिस्सन्ति येषं of whom hello indeed Mahayogi, a very highly exalted devotee of the Lord. Bharata, Jyeshtaha, the elders, Shrestha Gunaha, qualified with the best attributes, Asid was, Yena, by whom, Idam, this, Varsham, planet, Bharatam, Bharata, Iti, thus, Vyapadisanti, people call. Translation, O Rishabdev, 100 sons of Rishabdev's 100 sons, the eldest named Bharata was a great exalted devotee, qualified with the best attributes. In his honor, this planet has become known as Bharata Varsha. Please respond. Of Rishabdev's 100 sons, the eldest named Bharata was a great exalted devotee, qualified with the best attributes. In his honor, this planet has become known as Bharata Varsha. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This planet known as Bharata Varsha is also called Punya Bhumi, the pious land. At the present moment, Bharata Bhumi or Bharata Varsha is a small piece of land extending from Himalayan mountain to Cape Comorin. Sometimes this peninsula is called Punya Bhumi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given special importance to the people of this land. Bharata Bhumi to Haila Manusya Janma Yar, Janma Saartaka Karipara, Karikara, Paravupaka. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharata Varsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. The inhabitants of this piece of land are very fortunate. They can purify their existence by accepting this Krishna conscious movement and go outside Bharata Bhumi, India and preach this cult to benefit the whole world. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnanam Gnanam Shivakaya Chakshudan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamam Didati Swapadadikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Shrigajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajim Shadvitam Shavadutam Parajanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaganvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavan Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Pri Ancha Kalpatarubhyascha Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Avnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namarom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Sutideve Gauravani Vacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Where is everybody else? What everybody else doing? Ten people cooking prasad. Huh? Why? What are they doing? So many of them. Huh? So you can see in this verse, because Rishabdev's sons had 100 sons, eldest was Bharata. I think we'll cover his pastimes in the coming chapters, how he attained perfection in 3 lives. Yes? He fell down as a deer, then he became Jada Bharat, and then he attained perfection. Yeah? So his transcendental qualities are very exalted, so much so that the planet was used to be called as Ilavarta Varsha. After his reign, it became Bharata Varsha. That's why in India they call it Bharat. Yeah? Is it? They don't call India, they call Bharat. Yeah? India as a name was given by the Britishers, right? Indians. Where does word Indian come from? Anyone know? That one is Hindu. Hindu and India. Oh, from there it came from Hindu. Hmm? What? Yeah, because you see, because there was so much trade that India was doing, India was very cultured. They had the spice trade, their cloth also was very, they knew the art of making the cloth, and they also know how to do metallurgical thing. They were also expert in all this. So everybody in every part of the world were more or less looking for them. You see, they heard the word India. So anywhere outside Europe, everyone is called Indians. Right? They went to America and they called the Indians Red Indians. They went to South America and also called them Indians. Huh? They came to Asia because India was Asia, but China, Indonesia, everything became. So these are all you could see. It is the what we say, how the whole world was ruled by Vedic culture, and because of the culture, many parts of the world took the name India or Indians. You know, so this is a very important point that Prabhupada is making here. That Bharata Bhumi was not only because of the what we say, they were very renowned for their culture and their expertise in all their weaving and agriculture and metallurgical metal making and jewelry and so many things. But one thing that was very, very, very unique in India is because of the piety. That's what it is called, Punya Bhumi. You know. So this place has been spoken of in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Do you know where? The glories of India, Punya Bhumi.
1920.
So in these verses, you see here, since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for this human being to be born in the land of Bharatavarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past. Or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatavarsha to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. See? So you see, why Bharatavarsha is so, what we say, pious. Demigods continued. After performing the very difficult task of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifice and undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planet. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Indeed, because of excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. A short life in the land of Bharatavarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatavarsha in a lower planet system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection even in this short life. By fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. So a short life of how many years? Kali Yuga, human life is reduced to how many years? Kali Yuga is 100, but in Kali, the lifespan will, what? 50. 1 year, our time, is equal to 1 day of the demigod. One night is equal to their, no, 6 months, sorry. 6 months, the day, our 6 months is equal to 1 day, and our 6 months, the other 6 months will be their. So 1 day here, day and night, is 1 year of the demigods. So suppose you stay for 50 years, how long will that be?
50 days in heaven. 50 days in heaven.
Hmm?
50 days in demigod.
50 days only. In this thing, when what's his name, uh, who passed away fighting Arjuna's son, what's his name? Huh?
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was on temporary loan from the moon planet, because he was very dear to the moon god. Soma. So that Soma, he did not want to, because all demigods had to come down to assist Krishna in his pastimes, correct? So Soma said, I can only allow him to come for 16 days. And Abhimanyu died how many days? 16 years. Okay? So this shows that how the time there and time here. Understand? That's a long time, just like Brahma, when he took all the coward boys, correct? And he went back. He didn't even go back. A moment of his time.
Only 1 year.
Yeah?
1 year.
1 year was finished here. A moment of his time. Can you see the time? Demigods and this Brahma's time, 100 years. Huh? Correct? Yes, Niswasita. Kalam Atavalambya. This Swasita of Mahavishnu, Swasita means what? The Swasita, breathing, That's one breath and back. That's okay. How long is one breath? Particularly is 1 second of his time. That is equal to 100 years of Brahma. So you see how time, huh? He just breathes for a moment, and breathes in and breathe out. The universe is finished. And Brahma's life, 100 years has passed. And what is Brahma's life compared to the demigods? What is the time of the demigods compared to our time? Huh? So practically, so what is the advantages of this short life? That's why the demigods are saying in this 50 days of our time, they are going home back to Garden. You understand? 50 days of our, all you got to do is open the mouth and say what?
Hare.
That's it. That's it. Very difficult to do. Difficult. Difficult. Huh? Difficult. Huh? Not difficult? Difficult? Huh? So you see how Krishna has made it. That's why the demigod, they are thinking, why we spend so much time here? If we just go to this Bharata Bhumi and just stay for 50 days, and then we are going home back to Godhead. That's why this place, earth, is so pious. That's why it is called Punya Bhumi. Hey, the demigods are saying like this, you see? An intelligent person does not take interest in a place where in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganges of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activity does not flow there. If there are not devotees engaged in the service on the banks of such river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. Hey, you understand? So if you are engaged in Sankirtan Yajna, chanting, you have come to the topmost what? Position. It is not some crazy thing you are doing. Sometimes they come here and they see you dancing and chanting and they get upset. So why these people are doing this crazy thing? Many people, they come to our temple, especially on Sunday program, and they see you jumping and drinking and all this. They get very, what is the word? Turn off. Why? Why you are doing this highest thing and they are not getting interested? Yeah? Why? Why? Huh? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I mean, it is in the Bhagavatam, it is said, that verse about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that those who take part in this Sankirtan, who will take part? Yajante hai, Sumeda, those who are intelligent. Those who are intelligent, yes. And it is not meant for the fools. The fools will not appreciate this thing. Correct? You understand? That's why this place is so pious. Why this place is so pious? Hmm? Why? That is the verse here. Yage Sankirtan pray, yajante hai, sumedasa. Those who are intelligent will perform this Sankirtan. Why this India is very pious? Huh? Hello. Bharatavarsha offers the proper land and circumstance in which to execute devotional service can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one attains a human body in the land of Bharatavarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity, he does not take to devotional service, certainly like a liberated forest animal and bird that are careless and are therefore bound by a hunter. So if it does not take up the process, then he is no better than an animal who wants free and they are caught again. That means he is wasting his golden opportunity. Right? In India, Bharatavarsha, there are many worshippers of demigod. uh, so why India is so auspicious? Why? Uh, why is it so auspicious? Hmm? Do you know why? Hello?
Because God decided that.
God descended. But if you go to one verse here, actually here, I'm just gonna show you before we go. Here, in the tract of land known as Bharatavarsha, as in Ilavartavarsha, there are many mountains and rivers. Some of the mountains are known as Malaya, Mangala, Prastha, Mainaka, Trikuta. Rishabha, Kutaka, Kolaka, Sahya, Devagiri, Rishimukha, Sri Shaila Venkata, Mahendra, Varidhara, Vindhya, Suktiman, Rikshagiri, Pariyatra, Drona, Chitraku, Govardhan, Raivata, Kakubha, Nila, Gopmukha, Indrakila, and Kamagiri. Besides this, there are many other hills with many large and small rivers flowing from their slopes. There are two of the rivers, the Brahmaputra and the Sona are called nadas or main rivers. There are other great rivers that are very prominent. Chandravasa, Tambrapani, Avatodha, Kritamala, Haya, Vaihayasi, Kaveri, Veni, Payasvini, Sarkat, Sankaravarta, Tungabhadra, Krishnave, Venya, Vimarati, Godavari, Nirvindya, Payosini, Tapi, Reva, Surasa, Narmada, Charmavati, Mahanadi, Vedasmiti, Rishikula, Trisama, Kausika, Mandakini, Yamuna, Saraswati, Tristavati, Gomati, Sarayu. The Sarayu is where? You know where? It's Ayodhya there, right? Lord Ram. Rodaswati, Saptavati, Susoma, Satadru, Chandrabhaga, Miru, Vriddha, Vitasta, Askini, Viswa. The inhabitants of Bharatavas are purified because they always remember the rivers. Sometimes they chant the name of these rivers as mantras, and sometimes they go directly to the river to touch them and bathe in them. Thus the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha become purified. So just by taking bath in this, what is taking bath? Just by remembering these rivers, one gets purified. You're staying in Singapore, you remember this Singapore river? You get purified? Hello? Do you? There's difference, you see? So only India has got all these rivers, yes? Hmm? So this is the power of India. Not only that, the deities from Vaikuntha, like Purushottama, their names of you put their names on your body, right? What do you put? What do you put here? What is the tilak here you put? Kesava, then Narayana, then what? Govinda. So all these names are deities who are residing in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. And the same deities, they are manifesting themselves in India. For example, Purushottama. Where is Purushottama? Huh? Jagannath Puri. Hari. Where is Hari? Mayapur. Ah, you know. Understand? Like that, you have all the deities in Vaikuntha permanently having their temples in India. That's why when you go to these holy places, you become very much purified. You understand? You get very much? So you see how powerful India, pious land. It is not some you just go. You see, recently you went for pilgrimage, right? You came back very what? Drained out. Huh? Tired. What? Those who went recently, where you went? When you come back, were you exhausted or what? What was your mood? You feel charged up, is it not? Why? Because of the piety of these places, because you are going there and getting what? Darshan of the Lord. And when you go and see the Lord, you become purified. You take bath in these rivers, as is explained here, you get purified. So the birth of the souls, that's why it says here, you see, The people who take birth in this tract of land are divided according to their qualities of mental nature, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Some of them are born exalted personalities, some are ordinary human beings, and some are extremely abominable. For in Bharatavarsha, one takes birth according to one's past karma. If one's position is ascertained by a bona fide spiritual master, and one is properly trained to engage in the service of Lord Vishnu according to the four social divisions, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and the four spiritual divisions, Brahmana, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, one's life becomes perfect. So especially like now, those who take up the process of Harinam Sankirtan, they are what? Become what? Rare and perfected souls. Understand? It is not a cheap program. So when you become purified, how you become purified? By contacting the pure land. By contacting the pure land, then you become purified. Uh, you understand? So what about us here? No, we are not in Bharatavarsha and we are here. How do we get purified? Should we all move back to India? Hello? What is your recommendation? Huh? What do you think? Pack up and go back? Hello? Huh? What? Money is no more, Prabhu. If I go there, money no more. So how do you judge this? Huh? What do you say? I mean, those who take birth in the in any part of other place than India, then he's not going to get this purification. Hello, what do you say? Hmm? Huh? Hmm? But that you must have contact of pure devotee, no? Yes? Huh? Huh? What do you say? Hello? Where is that verse? Huh? Who knows? I thought it was in 715 that of all places there's a temple, the most auspicious place. Huh? 714 or 715? Hmm? Anywhere there's chanting of the holy name, the temple is the most auspicious place. Yeah, here. 714. 714. Auspicious indeed are the places where there is a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, in which he is duly worshipped, and also the places where there flow the celebrated sacred rivers mentioned in the Puranas. supplementary Vedic literatures, anything spiritually done there is certainly very effective. So, in other words, wherever there's a temple of Prabhupada has established this all over the world. Sacred lakes like Puskara and places where saintly person live, like Kurukshetra, Gaya, Priya, Pulakaha Ashram, Namesran near the banks of Palgu River, Setubandhu, Prabhash, Dwaraka, Varanasi, Mathura, Pampa, Bindu Sarova, Badrika Ashram, Narayana Ashram, the places where the Nanda River flows, the places where Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita took shelter, such as Chitrakoot, also the hilly tracts of land known as Mahendra, Malaya, all of these are to be considered most pious and sacred. Similarly, places outside India where there are centers of the Krishna conscious movement and where Radha Krishna deities are worshipped must all be visited and worshipped by those who want to be spiritually advanced. One who intends to advance in spiritual life may visit all these places and perform ritualistic ceremonies to get results 1,000 times better than the result of the same activities performed in any other place. So you see how important is the temple. When when you ask you to come to the temple, say, no, I have a temple in my house also. Is that the same? Huh? Authorized, yes, understand, by the acharyas. Because in your house you may have an altar, but on your altar you may have so many unauthorized things also. Yes? No.
Yes.
So to make it sanctified, it has to be what? Authorized. Yes? Prabhupada specifically says here, all those temples. So this is a very important thing. Now, very nice. We have now studied that these are all very auspicious. I have come to an auspicious place. My life is successful. Yes, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that all right, your life is successful, but you do one thing. What do? You please preach. Understand? If you don't preach, then you are, you know, you're not pleasing the Lord. How do you know that? If you don't preach, how do you know you're not pleasing the Lord? You don't know? Hello? How do you know if you do not preach, you're not pleasing the Lord? How do you know? Hello? How do you know that? Yeah? Haribol. Nobody seems to know anything here. So here in these two verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the one who explains the supreme secret to devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Hello? Please take note. And he again says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. You see this point here? So if you preach, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, those who are born in India, yes, very good. But your job is to study this and then what? Preach. Yare deka, tare kaha, Krishna Upadesh. Correct? So he is asking us to what? Preach. Some people say our Hindu religion, we don't need, so beautiful, no, we don't preach, Huh? They have to be Hindu only by birth only. Huh? Right? They say like that, but it's not a fact. Krishna is asking us to what? Preach. There's so many statements glorifying the preachers. You know where? Anyone can tell me? So many verses. 10. 10, 8. Now we'll go from the first canto onwards. From the first canto onwards, the preacher is glorified. Hmm? Hello? Hmm? You know? Anybody knows? My dear King Yudhishthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with the dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. Is that this here? Huh? Where else? The gopis, while they were lamenting for Krishna, right? They were thinking of those who were preaching the glories of the Lord. What was that? 10, 29? No, 10, 30, 33, something? The Gopi Gita, the first, number 9, I think. 10. This verse was spoken by Prataparudra, and the moment he spoke that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu covered his mouth. They didn't want him to speak anymore. This is this verse actually. See this verse. The nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. This narration, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one sinful reaction and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and filled with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. They are glorified by the gopis, you see. Huh? You see how a preacher is the most important person. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yare deka tareka Krishna upadesh. If you do this, you will never lose my company. You understand? To stay purified, he has said, in order to not be attacked by pride, you must hear the Bhagavad Gita and preach. This way you will be protected. Yes, he told the Vasudev, the one who he cured from the leprosy. Right? He said that. Yes. Do you know? I'm sure you know, right? So you see the importance of preaching Krishna consciousness. Another thing, that if you do not become a preacher, coming up to the second stage of your spiritual life, that's Kanishta and then Madhyama. If you don't reach the Madhyama, there's a good chance that you can fall down from your spiritual life. So it is very, very dangerous if you do not upgrade yourself. You understand? So simple, whatever you learn, you have to speak. That way you will become very strong spiritually. But if you don't speak, then there's a good chance that you will what? Firstly, if you don't speak, you will forget. Correct? If you don't speak, you will what? Forget. But if you keep speaking, preaching, then you will also constantly remember. You understand this point? Huh? So therefore you should learn, you read, understand this. You cannot say, for me chanting is only this. No, Prabhu, I am not a preacher, Prabhu. What? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has ordered everybody. Who? Anyone who born in India. First they have to study this. And then what? Thank God I didn't take birth in India, Prabhu. I am excused from preaching. Is that the fact? Anyone who have come to Krishna consciousness, he is duty bound to. Prabhupada said this to all his disciples. What he said? Huh? What he said? He was saying in that class of Bhaktisiddhanta's disappearance day. Do you know the lecture? He said. Right? Similarly, you have understood something, right? So my order to you is to print as many books and preach this Krishna consciousness widely to the length and breadth of this world. This way you will do good for yourself, also do good for everybody. You remember this part he spoke in that lecture? Hello? Remember? So Prabhupada wanted all of us to distribute books and preach Krishna consciousness. And it's the same thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also ordered us. So our movement is meant for, there are two words, One is called a Gostanandi, another one is called Bhajananandi. You understand? Do you know? So, but I think there's, where is that verse? It is in the purport. In the purport, Bhajananandi and Gostanandi. Bhagavatam. Which verse is that? I don't know, I forgot. You can do a search for me, you'll see. So these two words are very important. Bhajananandi means what? One who is singing and, for there are two kinds of devotee. One is called a Gostyanandi and the other is Bhajananandi. The word Bhajananandi refers to devotee who does not move. That means what? His words, he does sit down and what? Do. Refers to devotee who does not move, but remains in one place. Such a devotee is always engaged in devotional service of the Lord. You chant the Mahamantra as taught by many acharyas and sometimes go out for preaching work. The Gostyanandi is one who desires to increase the number of devotees all over the world. He travels all over the world just to purify the world and the people residing in it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, Prithivityacha Nagradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Aibe Mora Nam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his followers to move all over the world to preach in every town and village. In the Chaitanya Sampradaya, those who strictly follow the principle of Lord Chaitanya must travel all over the world to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya, which is the same as preaching the words of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The more the devotees preach the principle of Krishna Katha, the whole world, the more people throughout the world will benefit. Devotees like Narada, great sage Narada, who has traveled all over to preach, are called Gostyanandi. Narada Muni is always wandering throughout the universe just to create different types of devotees. Narada even made a hunter devotee. He also made Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad devotees. Actually, all devotees are indebted to the great sage Narada, for he had wandered both in heaven and in hell. The devotee of the Lord is not even afraid of hell. He goes to preach the glories of the Lord everywhere, even in hell, because there is no distinction between heaven and hell for a devotee. Narayana paraha sarve nakutashna bibhyati swarga pavarga narakeswa apitulya darshinaha. A pure devotee of Narayana is never afraid of going anywhere and everywhere. For him, heaven and hell are one and the same. Such devotees wander all over the world, deliver those who are actually afraid of this material existence. Some people are already disgusted with material existence, been confused and frustrated by material enjoyment. And some people who are intelligent are interested in understanding the Supreme Lord. Both may take advantage of the pure devotee who wanders throughout the world. When a pure devotee goes to a place of pilgrimage, he desires to purify that holy place of pilgrimage. Many sinful men bathe in the holy waters of the places of pilgrimage. They take they take their bath in the waters of Ganga and Yamuna at places such as Prayag and Vrindavan and Mathura. In this way, the sinful men are purified by their sinful action and reaction remain in the holy place of pilgrimage. When a devotee comes to take his bath at those places of pilgrimage, the sinful reaction led by the sinful man are neutralized by the devotee. Tirtha purvanti tirtani Swantastena Gadabrata, because the devotee always carries the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart. Wherever he goes becomes a place of pilgrimage, a holy place for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is therefore the duty of everyone to associate with a pure devotee and thus attain freedom from material contamination. Everyone should take advantage of his wandering devotees whose only business is to deliver conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. So you see this point is very nicely made by Srila Prabhupada, explaining the importance of preaching Krishna consciousness. Yes, of course this word is also there in the CC, Prabhupada explained that there also. So our movement is based on this. This is why Prabhupada, he was staying in Vrindavan. He left Vrindavan and he traveled to uh, where he went?
New York.
New York. And he started the whole movement. And because of his efforts, we are now sitting here and chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa. That's one person's effort, wandering to the most abominable place in the world, New York. How many of you been to New York? You been to New York? You've been there? Huh? Only she has been to New York. You like New York? I was in New York. I went to New York because I landed there, cheaper flight, they don't go to New York. And from there I went to Houston. I was way back. After that I did not go to that side. But it's terrible place. I mean the brewery, the slum, so many. New York is not a very nice place. And Prabhupada went there. He got mocked also. He got mocked. Somebody mocked him and mocked. You know what the meaning of mock? You don't know. Mock means what? Somebody what stole his tape recorder. His typewriter. Yes. And then they got crazy guys who take LSD. And he had one boy staying with him with LSD. He was going crazy and he was going to kill Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had to leave the apartment and run away. I'm sure you read about that. So you see how dangerous the place it is. And Prabhupada went there to start this movement. See how merciful. Yes, because of his effort. Today, so many holy places are in the world. Practically, if you are traveling, you can see how there is a Hare Kṛṣṇa temple somewhere. Yes? And just now we read, if you cannot go to the holy place in India, you go to the Radha Krishna temples. Yes? And why only Radha Krishna temple? because they can purify you. You understand? Just an incident yesterday, this one guy came, no? And he came in praying. So I asked him, I think you introduced him to me. So I asked him, where are you from and all the formalities. He said, from Delhi somewhere. Huh? Then he said, do you chant Hare Krishna? No, Prabhu, I chant Radhe Radhe. You know? I said, why do you? No, Radha gives me emotion. Ah, see, now why I'm relating this incident? Because he has come to the temple. Yes, and he has come to the temple. For some reason, he is attracted to Radharani. That's very good for him. But he came and chanted, and then he met the devotees. You understand? And then we explained to him, no, this is not the way. You may chant emotionally, but you have to learn how to chant from the spiritual master to do it correctly. You understand? You cannot just simply come and emotion, Prabhu, I like this, I like that, I like so many things. That doesn't work. You understand? So you have to hear how to do the thing properly. You have to be taught. Just like, of course, you are going to work, you are doing all your C program or work program and so many programs, right? You just learned it, is it? No, no, Prabhu, I don't care. I want to do a D program now. Will it be possible? Huh? They'll ask you to go home. Yes. You understand? So everything has a requirement. Similarly, spiritually, we need to be taught. How? That's why Radha Krishna temple here, very important, more important, devotees. Yes, what is that verse? Worship of the Lord is important, but more important, Lord Shiva is saying, Aradhanam Sarvesham, Vishnu Aradham Param, Tasmat Parantaram Devi, Tadyanam Acharam. The worship of devotee. Why? Because what? Devotee association is what? Very, very valuable. We all became devotees by association. So similarly, he got some, realization. Did he buy a bead bag and a book? Everything he did. Let's see by your mercy. So he got realization. It's a fact. I cannot just come and do my thing. It doesn't work. So this is why the temple is so important. You understand? I think I also explained that you also started like that, no? Remember in Norris Road, you used to come there and sing your. I was downstairs and he was singing at the top of his voice upstairs. Of course, he had a lot of devotion. I don't blame him. He's a very devoted person. But you know what I mean? His understanding was not in line with the spiritual master. So when he got trained up, you see how he's preaching and making so many devotees and so many valuable, just like all of you. So that training is very essential. And that's exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking us. Para upakar. First, janma sa artaka. You make your life successful. And then you paropakar, you preach. And that will please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much. In fact, he says, anyone who does that will not lose my company. You understand? If you all of us are wanting to be with God, Krishna, correct? So how to be with Him? To glorify Him. To, Lord, what is that verse? Nirvidyamanam, Ichato, Akuto Bayam. One, what? Huh? 111. Etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akuto bayam yoginam nirpa nirnitam is what nirnitam means. It is already decided, concluded, legislated. Hare nama anukirtanam. O king, Constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material distress, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. This is the conclusion. Because it pleases Krishna the most, chanting of his name. It is for everybody's benefit. That's why devotees are the most auspicious people in the world. Most auspicious. Because by seeing them, huh? By just seeing them, what? Touching them, hearing them speak. Huh? What? Even if you remember them, you get transcendental benefits. All the sins are removed. All are removed just by their contact. That's why devotee is so auspicious, temple is so auspicious, everything is very auspicious because it stops the cycle of birth and death. It brings you back home spiritually. So okay, I think I'm going to stop here. Any questions or any further? 11.5? 30? 33? 38? This is where the devotees from the South India, I didn't want to show this verse because the North Indians will not be happy. When you show this verse, I knew this verse, but when I show this North Indian, he may not like to come back here. Huh? You sure? You're North Indian, no? And then the Eastern Indian, right? Eastern, hello, you're Eastern. You Western. He is Western. How many South here? Oh, so many South. Huh? My dear King, the people of Satya Yuga and other ages eagerly desire to take birth in the age of Kali, since in this age there may be many devotees of the Supreme Lord Narayana. These devotees will appear in various places but will be especially numerous in South India. O Master of Man, in the age of Kali, those persons who drink the waters of the holy rivers of Dravida dāsa. Dravida means what? The five, huh? What that place? Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and I think part of Oriya. Maharashtra. Is it? Maharashtra is part of this. I doubt, Is it? Oh, okay. So, such as the Tamra Parni, this is in South India, near the Rameswaram site. Yeah, Yadu Pata. Kritamala, where is this Kritamala? Payaswini is there also, I know, in South India, that Rameswaram there. The extremely pious Kaveri, of course, Kaveri is this Kannada man, he is blocking the river, he is from going down south. Kannada, who is from here? Kannada? You know Kannada here? Narahariya. And the Pratichi, Mahanadi is in Orissa, I think. Yeah? Well, almost all the pure-hearted devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see how powerful these places are. Huh? Called what? Vaidai. Vaida. Why now? Vaida.
Why now?
Vaidai. Vaidai. There are so many pious places in India, People, of course, many of them are doing lip service, or lip service. Because they are not having contact with the pure devotees. He says here, because the many pure devotees stay in this place, by their contact they become. It is not just the river makes you pure, you know. You understand? You understand that? You may take bath in the river and do all your soap and shampoo and all that. What's his name? Sanatan got upset. They go to this Radha Kund and they put this soap, this, that, washing their clothes, all this. You know. So he created another place for them, you know, to do all that kind of thing. This is a holy place, you know, right? So where was I going to show you? I was going to show you something.
Rivers are not.
Yeah, the rivers, huh? So you see here, oh Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of your lotus feet of the Lord at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. Whereas waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. Yeah? Because it's going there, you're taking bath, nobody says no, you take bath. But power is by associating with devotees. That devotee association is very, very powerful. Actually, it's a fact. We all became devotees because the association of Srila Prabhupada. That one line of his book changed our life. Right? Is it not? Huh? So many books are there, and so many books you have read in your life changes it. Huh? Your life changed. Prabhu, I became a pure devotee by reading Shakespeare. I think you all don't read Shakespeare, right? What is your Indian literature? What did you study in Indian literature?
Learn the bits and pieces.
Different. You don't do this Western literature, is it?
We do traveling to
Huh?
We do
You do
bits and pieces of all kind of lesson.
Julius Caesar.
Don't do it.
You don't do all that. Oh, we have to do all that.
No, when you go higher studies, taking the literature, they might study, but not in school.
But that if you take literature, no? If you don't take literature, nobody reads it. They all do what C program, A program. Okay, thank you very much. So we will stop here. If you have anybody has anything, or you have.
The other source of external source of minus or good.
You said that everybody will see never different, you will see it as the same. I don't understand why you see it as the same.
Never mind, you go to hell and find out.
I mean, why do they see it as the same?
Because you have the Lord. If you have the Lord, then you have everything. You're not disturbed by going to any of these places. You're constantly with the Lord, then heaven also become, hell also will become heaven. Yes? You understand? I think that's the verse there in 11:14. For one who has the Lord. Can you go 11:14 and see the index there? You see, for one who has God, Krishna with him, then he does not care anything about anything else. Because you got him, his association. You understand? So even if you go to hell, you are not disturbed by anything. Because wherever there's Krishna, there's no question of darkness. You understand? Huh? I think that's the verse, 11:14, the last part of happiness I said, no? There's three verses of happiness I quoted. The last part in 11:14, I think it's 20 something, 29 or what is that? Can you, in that verse, he explains this point. So you see here, For one who does not desire anything within this world, who has achieved peace by controlling his senses, whose consciousness is equal in all conditions, and whose mind is completely satisfied in me, finds only happiness wherever he goes. You understand? That means there is no miseries for him. There's no. Wherever he goes, he only finds heaven or hell. You follow? Huh? You understand? So this is there in the 14th. So I guess this covers your question. Anything else? Huh?
What is this word India or Bharat was referred here? Is it referring to only the current India nation or the whole country?
It was actually, that's why the word Mahabharata was used. Prabhupada explained that Mahabharata was referring to this whole Varsha, Actually, the word Varsha, Prabhupada translates the planet, but it also means the Jambudvipa, part of Jambudvipa. This earthly Bharatavarsha? So when what's his name? All the Arjuna and all of them, they went to conquer. It is in the Mahabharata. They conquer. They went beyond to the other Varshas. Like Parikshit Maharaj, you take 116. You can see 116 that he went to all these other Varshas to capture back. His. And one of the place he went was what is this place that Anuman comes from? Kim Purusa. He went to Kim Purusa and conquered that also. You understand? So Bharata Varsha referring to all,
There is
but now it is reduced to only India.
there is there is a description of there is a shloka in Vishnu Puran 231 about the boundaries of Bharat. It said Uttaram yat samudrasya himadreschaiva dakshinam vashantat bharatam nama bharati yatra santati. The land that is north of the ocean and south of the snowy mountains, the Himadri, is called Bharata. And next verse it says, Navayojana sahasra vistarosya mahamne karma bhumir yam swargam apavargancha darshatam. So it's 9,000 yojanas, which comes to 72,000 miles, that is more than the diameter of the earth.
All the verses are in the same.
So here in this one also here Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Parikshit then conquered all the part of earthly planet, Bhadraswa, Ketumala, Bharata, see the part, the northern Kuru, Kimpurusha, etc. and extracted tributes from the respective rulers. So now here in the purport, Ketumala, the earth planet is divided into 7 deepas by 7 oceans and 7 deepas, and central deepa called Jambu Deepa is divided in 9 varshas apart by 8 huge mountains. Bharatavarsha is one of the above mentioned 9 varshas, and Ketumala is described as one of the above varshas. It is said that in Ketumala Varsha, women are the most beautiful. This Varsha was conquered by Arjuna also. A description of this part of the world is available in Mahabharata. So you see this purport, you go read the purport. All the descriptions of the Bharata Varsha is in this part of the world is one of the 9 varshas of the Jambudvip. See? Then you have Hari Varsha, Ilavarta Varsha, Harivarsha, I think this is what he Hare Kṛṣṇa. Uttara Kuru, according to Vedic geography, the northernmost portion of the Jambudvip is called Uttara Kuru Varsha. It is surrounded by the saltwater ocean from three sides and divided from Hiranmaya Varsa by Shringavan mountain. This is the one we are talking about. The Skin Purusha Varsa is stated to be to the north of the great Himalaya mountain, which is 80,000 miles in length and height and which covers 16,000 miles in width. This part of the world was also conquered by Arjuna. The Kim Purushas are descendants of the daughter of Daksha, where Maharaj Yudhishthira performed a horse sacrifice yajna. The inhabitants of these countries were also present to take part in the festival and they paid tribute to the emperor. This part of the world is called Kinpurusha Varsa or sometimes the Himalayan province, Himavan. It is said that Sukadeva Goswami was born in this Himalayan province and then he came to Bharatavarsa after crossing the Himalayan countries. You see, it is very inconceivable, how all this thing is. So you want more description, you can read the fifth canto. If you can understand, please come back and elaborate to us. Even Prabhupada translating it is that at one point he just said those who are interested can do this. He just kept the Sanskrit only. You can carry on. Even he, not so easy to understand. Because there's a big problem. They're supposed to put up the whole thing in our Mayapur, the planetary system. I think they gave up. They just copied whatever the scientists are saying. What the scientists are saying and what the Shastra is saying are two different things. So it's a very complicated thing to understand. Because Sukadeva Goswami was describing it, and he was describing it from the outside, And we are now inside here. For us to understand this from inside, it's a little bit confusing. Anyway, you can read the whole thing is described in this. Right, we stop here then. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Bhagavan.